Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet the hexagon shirt. So you're going to chain 5 and then you slip stitch in the first stitch, just like that. I promise it gets easier. Anyway, you chain 3 and then in this hole you create clusters of double crochet. These are 3 double crochet. The chain 3 is a double crochet. Chain 2, you create another cluster of 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, another cluster. Oops. 1, 2, 3. This is the first part of the hexagon. 1, 2, another cluster. 1, 2, 3. These are 4. Chain 2, another cluster. 1, 2, 3. That is another cluster. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need one more cluster of 3 double crochets so that we can have enough corners for the hexagon. 1, 2, 3. So we are on our last clusters of double crochets. You chain 2 and then you slip stitch on the 3rd stitch. I promise it gets easier. 1, and then you keep slip stitching until you reach the chain 2, 2, 3, until you reach here. Once you're there, you see now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 corners. You're going to chain 3 and then you're going to put our first clusters of double crochets, and I promise it gets easier. And I'm using the white yarn for demonstration purposes because the black yarn does not pick very well on the camera. So we have that. This is our second row. You chain 2 and then on this same corner we create another cluster of 3 double crochets. Oof, I need to weave in the end. 1 and 2. So we have our first cluster of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochet. We are going to chain 1 and it's going to take us in the next corner. Oof. 1, 2, 3, our first cluster, chain 2 in the same corner. 1, 2, 3. Our second cluster, you chain 1, it's going to take us in the next corner. 1, 1, 2, 3. You chain 2, make 3 more double crochets in the same corner. Chain 1. The chain 1 is going to take us in the next corner. We'll just keep doing that and I'll meet you guys on our third row. Then I'll show you guys how to proceed. We are at the end of our second row. We are going to chain one, and it's going to take us to this cluster. Again, you slip stitch in the first stitch, one, slip stitch in the next, two, and in the next two. So this is our second row, and you see we have 6 corners, as you can see that. So guys, I'm going to show you how we are going to increase as we go on. So the first, once you are at your corner, ensure you're always starting and ending at a corner so that everything can be seamless. So you're going to chain 3 per usual. The 3 chain counts as a double crochet. Put 2 double crochet, you chain 2, and then you put another cluster of 3 double crochets in the same space. So right now everything looks like this, but we are going to chain 1. After every cluster you chain 1. We have this chain 1 space. In this chain 1 space, because it's not a corner, in this chain 1 space, because it's not a corner, we are going to put 3 double crochets only, a cluster of 3 double crochets only. You see that? Then you chain 1, it takes you to the next corner. In every corner you're going to put 2 clusters of 3 double crochets. So we have 3, you chain 2, and you put 3 more double crochets. I hope you guys can get that. Chain 1, we have this, it's our chain 1 space. We put 3 double crochets only, not a cluster, that's 3 double crochets only. You chain 1 to take you to the next corner. Chain 2, three more double crochets, and then you chain 1, 3 double crochet in the chain 1 space. So you're just going to keep doing that, and then I'll meet you guys at the end of our third row. We are at the end of our third row. We've already chained 1, so we are going to slip stitch on the first stitch, 1, 2, 2, 3, until we reach here at the corner stitch. So guys, that's our hexagon. You can see that it's already shaping up. So let me show you how to make the 4th row, and you're just going to continue with the sequence until you reach the length that you want. Ensure you are always starting your stitch and ending it at a corner so that everything can look neat and uniform. You chain 3, you put 3 double crochets, first cluster, chain 2, see that our first cluster is over, you chain 1. So right now we have 1, 2 spaces for chain 1. So we are going to place our first cluster here. The chain 1 spaces are increasing in every row, hence why your hexagon keeps getting bigger and bigger in every row. So on this row we are going to have 2 chain 1s, 3 chain 1 spaces, and so on and so forth. Ensure you are always chaining 1 after every cluster, don't forget that. We are at a corner, 2 clusters of 3 double crochets on the same corner. Another one, chain 1. So we are just going to keep doing this until we reach at the end of the row. Then you keep making as many rows as you need for your garment. For me, I'll make about 14 rows, then I'll show you guys how to proceed. So we are at the end of our 1 2 3 4, our 4th row. Again, don't forget to chain 1 and then slip stitches until you reach the chain 2 spaces. There you are. So far so good. This is what we have, and you see we have 1 2 3, we have 1 more increase. So you're just going to keep going on until you reach the size of what you want. Mine, we are going to keep doing that until we have 14 rows. Then I'll show you guys what to do. Also, you can change colors, you can interchange colors. It will be more fun. Anyway guys, I'll see you when we are at row 14. So I told you I'll meet you guys on my row 14. This is where we are at. At this point you should have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Should have 12. This cluster should be 12 plus the corners. So this is what we are working with. I hope you can see. And then we are going to make the sleeve part. So you're going to hold this corner and that corner. This is what we are going to have. I hope you can see that. So what we are going to do, we are going to work on this is supposed to be the arm area and this is supposed to go on the lower part. So we are going to work on the shoulder part. So you're going to find your stitch markers. I'm going to use these 2 yarns of different colors. I'll use the purple one. I attach it on this corner, and then this nude one, I attach it on this other corner. So this is what we are going to have. So what we are going to do, we are going to be working on the rounds, except on this part of the sleeve we are not going to increase anymore. So I'll be using the white yarn. You're going to attach, you turn your work. For me, as you can see, all my stitches are on the right side. So what it means is that you work in round. Once you reach where you're supposed to reach, you cut your yarn, then you attach again. Of course, I know we don't want to have to, what is it called, to cut the yarn after, but for me I like it like this because as you can see it's so neat. So I'm going to attach my white yarn on the corners, on one of the corners. You start from this corner, you always end on the other corner. So I'm going to attach my yarn. So we are going to attach our white yarn. You form a slip stitch first, like that, and then you take this corner You take this corner, you attach your white yarn. You attach with a slip stitch like that, then make a chain one. This will 1 2 3. This is our first stitch, our second one, and our third one. So we are not going to form a cluster of 3 because we are not increasing. We'll just make our 3 chains, no chaining, chain 2, then we just leave it at that. Then you chain 1, and you continue making 3 double crochets on every chain 1 space, as you can see, just like that. 1 2, chain 1, 3 double crochets, so this is where we are at. 1 2. On every chain 1 space you place 3 double crochet stitches, chain 1, and then you chain 1. On every chain 1 space you place 3 double crochets, chain 1. You'll just keep doing that until we get to our first corner. I'll meet you guys there. So here we are at our first corner. On this corner we are going to increase. It's only on this first corner and this one that you're not going to increase, but the rest of the corners we are going to increase. So on this corner I've already chained 1, so we are going to put 3 clusters of double crochets, and then you're going to chain 2 and you add 3 more clusters. You chain 1. Now that's our corner, and you just keep doing. We are only increasing at the corner, so we'll just keep placing 3 double crochets on every chain 1 space until we reach the next corner where we are going to increase. We are almost on our second corner. You chain 1. Here is our corner. So we are at our last corner. You're going to do the same thing we did on our first corner. You just make 2 clusters of 3 double crochets. So we are at a corner where we put this stitch marker. At this corner we are going to place 3 double crochet. Once you're done, we are going to continue with our white again. For me, I don't want to turn my work. I'll just make a slip stitch and then I cut my yarn and pull through. So far this is what we have. This is going to be our arm area. So I'm going to attach my yarn again. Let me show you how to attach. You don't have to do all of this, you could just turn and continue, but I just want my work to be extra neat. You make a slip stitch and then you attach 1, 2, 3 on the third stitch. After you attach, you make a chain 1, 2, 3. This is going to represent a double crochet, and then you add more chain. This is going to represent the chain 1 space, and then you continue with the sequence. So I wanted to show you that part so that you can see how you're going to proceed. If you had a chain 3 cluster, this is what you're going to do, and vice versa. So this is our second row. We are using the first sequence we did on our first row, and then I'll show you guys what we are going to do once we are done with this row. So for me, I'm going to do 6 rows of this part for the shoulder part, and then I'll show you guys the next part. So this is our last corner of the second row. I'm going to show you how you do it. You're just going to work like the previous row. Chain 2, and then you put 3 double crochet clusters. That's what we are going to do. Then you just keep going until we reach the end. I'll meet you guys there. So we are back at the corner. I'm going to show you what we are going to do. This is our second row for the shoulder part. So you're going to chain 1. On this last double crochet, you're going to put a double crochet, then you're going to pull your yarn and then cut. So I'm going to show you how to do a color change. On the next 3 rows, I'm going to use this black yarn. So what you're going to do, 1, 2, 3, on this third stitch, you attach your black yarn, as you can see, pull through, and then you make a double crochet 1, 2, 3. This stands for a chain, so this is 3 double crochet, and then you are going to put 2 more double crochets on the chain 1 space, and then we'll have our cluster. So for every row you're going to alternate between a cluster and a chain 1. Then you are going to chain 1, and at the end of this row you should end with a cluster of 3 double crochet, and you're going to be using this black until we have for 3 rows, and then we are going to change our color, or you can continue depending on the colors you're using. We are going to finish our row with a white. I'll show you guys that. Hi guys, so we are done with the shoulder part. We did 6 rows, 1 2 3 4 5 6, so 3 rows of black and 3 rows of white. We started with 2, then we did 3, and then 1. So you guys are going to, depending on the color combination you're following, you'll do what suits you best. So that's what you do. For those 6 rows, that is enough for the shoulder part of the garment. You see, you already have the arm. This is the shoulder part, and this is the front side. So what we are going to do, we are going to form the back panel. So we'll need stitch markers. For me, I'm going to use these 2 yarn. You attach on 2 corners, that corner and this other corner, the joining corner. Once you are done attaching, so what we are going to do, we are going to double crochet from this corner up to the bottom, and then you go up to this other corner that you've marked. So I'm going to attach my yarn. So we are going to attach our white yarn at this corner where we put our stitch marker. We place a slip stitch. So what we are going to do, you chain 1 2 3. This will represent a chain, and then you place 2 more double crochet on the corner. On this corner we are not going to increase, so what we are going to do, we are just going to proceed marker. So what you're going to do on this corner, you're going to put a cluster of 3 double crochets only, and then you could continue if you are still using the same color, turn and continue, but for me I like keeping my work neat, so I'm just going to cut off the yarn. Going to do 2 rows of this, so we are going to do 1 more row. I'm going to change color, I'm going to use black. So we are going to, again we are only going to do 2 rows of this color change. Let me show you how to attach. And then you make a single crochet, that counts as how to attach. So this is chain 3, and then you chain 1 more, and then on the next chain 1 space you place 3 double crochet, and you'll just keep doing that until you reach the next corner. The same way you did here is the same way you're going to do on this other part. So we are back at our other corner. We are going to do what we did on this corner. So we are going to chain 1, and then on this last stitch you are going to put a double crochet, and then you cut your yarn. So I'm going to show you something. First, this is the panel we've been working on. You need, of course, you need 2 similar panels. So what we're going to do on this panel, as you can see, the shoulder, we've already worked on the shoulder part, and right now we were working on the front part. So this is the back side on this panel. So we are going to work on the back side of the other panel, and you have to ensure everything aligns so that the right side is on the right side and the left side is on the left side. You get? So on this side we've worked our back panel on this panel, so I'm going to show you how to work the back panel on this panel. So I'm going to show you how to work the back panel. We are not working on the front part anymore, so we are just going to flip our work. On this corner right here, you place a stitch marker of a different color. So you're going to work this way you keep going until you get to this other corner, on this other corner of the front part, and then you place a stitch marker. So what that means, it means that we are not going to work on the front panel. So we'll just start here, we go until we get here. So we are only going to increase on one corner, on the back corner only. So let me attach the yarn. I hope you guys get it, and then I show you what you're going to do. So we are going to attach our yarn on this corner where we placed a stitch marker. I'm sorry in advance for using the black yarn. I hope you guys can be able to see. So I'm going to attach on this corner where we placed a stitch marker. Make a slip stitch and a single crochet, 1, 2, 3. That does count for a double crochet, and then you make 2 more double crochet on the corner. For me, I decided to use the bottom corner because I want everything to be on the right side. It really does not matter, but that's just what I want. So what we are going to do, we are just going to keep going. I've started working on the bottom part, not on the upper part. So we are just going to keep going the same as usual. And then once we are going to work 2 rows of this, and then we'll have enough rows. So once we get to this other corner, we are only going to increase on one corner only. We work at the bottom part until you get to this other corner, and then we continue until you get to this other corner where we placed our stitch marker. Okay, that's how you work. That's how your work should look like. So essentially this is what we are working with. This is the shoulder part. I did not start my stitch on this other side. I decided to start on the lower side. So I'm working all around. That's why we are only increasing on this corner. Then we are only working the back side only. Okay? And we are only going to do 2 rows of this black. I'll meet you guys at this other corner on the back panel. So we are at almost at our corner where we placed our stitch markers. So on this corner we are going to place 3 double crochets. We are just going to do what we did on our first corner, just like that. And that's what we have. So we are going to do 1 more row for the back part. Chain 3, chain 4, you turn your work. For me, I'm going to cut off my yarn per usual because I want everything to be uniform. So this is how the back looks like. We are just going to add 1 more row on the back side again. I'm gonna attach my yarn from where I started. Also, you don't have to do all these extra things that I'm doing because it will be a lot of work weaving in the ends, but I really don't mind. Chain 3. I really don't mind weaving in the end. I am willing to risk anything for the aesthetic, I know. So that's what we are going to do. So this is our last row of the back panel. We're just going to keep doing what we've been doing for the other row, and then once we get here we'll have 2 rows, and then I'll show you guys how to attach the 2 panels. So we are at our last corner where we had our stitch marker. So what we're going to do, we are going to chain one, and on this double crochet stitch, the last one, we're going to place a double crochet. Then we are going to cut off our yarn. Then I'm going to show you what to do next. So guys, this is what we have. This is what the back panel should look like. So we are just going to attach the two panels together. Then I want to show you guys how to attach the shoulder part. So I'm going to show you how to attach the shoulder part. You just need a needle, and then what you're going to do, you're going to do, what are they called, a whip stitch, or really whatever stitch that you can use. Just ensure you attach nicely. And for this part, we are starting with the extended part first. Then I promise it gets easier. You just keep attaching so that you can have seamless work. Oh my god, and all these ends I'll have to sew them later once I'm done. Anyway, of course you can avoid all this torture. So this is how you are going to sew your work. You just pick any stitch that is closer to you. You pick that one and that one. Ensure everything is aligned so that everything can lay flat without any problems. You pick the closest stitch to you, just like that. I hope you guys can see that. You pick that and that. You see, it gets easier, and you ensure every stitch is aligned so that you don't have uneven work. We want to ensure that everything is aligned so that we can have seamless transition. You just keep sewing. So you'll sew this side, this one shoulder, and you do the same for the other shoulder, and also for the back part of the garment, so that we can have one full garment. And then I'm going to show you how to make the collar part of the garment. Also, I'm going to show you, if you need your garment to be longer, I'm also going to show you how to extend your work without any problems, and also if you need to attach some buttons. So you'll just keep sewing till the end of the row, and then I'll meet you guys there. So we are done with our shoulder part. This is what it looks like. See, when you join like that, everything lays so flat and so neat. And this is what we are working with. So far so good. So I'm going to attach the other shoulder, then I'll show you how to attach the back. So guys, this is what we are working with. We've already attached the shoulder and the shoulder on the other side. So what we need to do, you should ensure the panels are aligned, the back panel and the front panel. So what we are going to do, we are going to attach the back the same way we attach the shoulder panels, and then we are going to make the collar part. Then I'm going to show you what we are going to do next. So I went ahead and joined everything. The two panels are joined. I joined it like that. So for this front part, I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add one more row of this color black all around, and then we are going to make the collar. That's why we have this here. This one we are going to use it to make the collar. So as for the collar, so I'm going to show you how to make the collar. So you're going to turn your work on the wrong side and you're going to attach your collar. Of course you count. So you chain 1, one, 2, 3, and then you put 2 double crochets in that space. Then you chain 1, you keep going. The reason as to why we are crocheting on the wrong side, so that when we flip our collar, once we wear it, we're going to flip it like this, so that when we flip our work, the right side will be on the outside. So we're just going to keep doing this until you reach where you put your stitch marker on the neck area. Then I'll meet you guys there. So we are done on the first row of the collar. I'm going to cut off my yarn. You can continue. You can continue, but for me, this is what I've chosen for myself, and I have so many ends that I need to sew in. Anyway, that is, we will cross that, what is it called, that bridge when we get there. So you attach your yarn, 1, 2, 3, that is a double crochet, then you chain 1, that's for chain 1, and then you continue. So we are just going to keep doing this for, I think I'll do 6 rows. So I'll do 2 whites, 3 blacks, and 1 more white, and then that will be it. Will be done with our collar. Hi guys, so this is the last part of the video. So as for the front part, you're going to do 3 rows of single crochet on both sides, and as for the arms, this is how the arm looks like. 2 rows of single crochet. The first row you just do it normally. In every stitch you put a single crochet. The second row you decrease after every 6 and 5 single crochet. You alternate between 5 and 6. That's when you decrease. So 2 rows of that. And as for the collar, again you do 2 rows of single crochets without no decrease or increase, and this is what our shirt looks like. You could add buttons if you like. I'll probably add buttons, but I'm not sure. I think I'll keep it like that. You could add buttons. This is how the top part looks like, and you do the same for the other arm. Also for the lower part, you do 1 row of single crochet, and that's just how our work is going to look like. This one is a cropped version. I did a long version, and this one is a cropped version. They are unisex. The boys can wear them too. So that's that, and we are done. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to subscribe and comment and share. Bye.